Welcome, everybody, back for the Fantasy Savvy Weekly Show with your host, Steve D'Angelo, back for divisional round picks. Of course, we had to give it to you. Been busy doing a bunch of shows with the Face Off Sports Network with Anthony. Go check that out, fffaceoff.com. Follow those guys on the Face Off Sports Network. Tons of great info. Follow me on X at Fantasy Savvy. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe, share to everybody, comment, based on who you like this weekend, what player props. If you disagree with me, throw it out there in the comments. I will fire back. But we are going to get into the divisional round picks. Maybe we'll throw some player props out there for you guys, some same game parlays as well, and maybe a little bit DFS for this weekend as well. We'll see if we can get into all that, and maybe I'll even throw out a draft. We'll do another playoff draft. Probably won't do that. We did quite a few this week. Check out the past shows if you want to get into a DraftKings or Underdog or Drafters. The NFC has got some contests. FFPC's got some contests. But we're going to get into the picks first. Let's go over the record for the year. And again, we started all the way back in week 2. Week 1, we did not pick because I was drafting a million fantasy teams. Week 2, 2-1. Week 3, 6-0. Week 3, 3-2. Week 5, 3-6. We started 3 straight winning weeks. Then we go week 5, 3-6. Week 6, 2-4. So 2 straight losing weeks. Week 7, 7-2. Week 8, 3-5. Week 9, 1-3. Week 10, 3, 4-1. Week 11, 3-5, 4 straight losing weeks. So we hit a freaking rough patch in the middle of the season there. What the hell's going on? But then we bounced back. Week 12, 7-2. Week 13, 3-1. Week 14, 7-4-1. 3 straight winning weeks. And week 15, 3-5. Week 16, 4-7. 2 straight losing weeks. But we are now on another 3-game winning streak. We look to end the season just winning every damn week as we go. Week 17, 7-3, week 18, 6-3, and then last week in the wild card round, we go 6-2 for a total of 76, 59, and 2. Good for 56% on the year. So there you have it on the bottom. Oh shit, I gotta change that. This isn't wild card picks. This is divisional round. Let's mess this puppy up. All right. Bang. Okay, so we are going to bring 5 picks tonight. We're gonna have a pick for every game. I kind of squeezed it out. The first game I didn't really have a great pick, but I'm gonna give you guys one. So let's come back on the other side. We'll get into the picks. We'll get into some player props, maybe some same game parlays. Let's go. Welcome to the Fantasy Savvy Weekly Show with your host, Steve D'Angelo, discussing high-stakes fantasy football, NFL picks, and much more. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. And welcome back to the Fantasy Savvy Weekly Show with our divisional round picks. I did a player prop show with Anthony earlier today at Face Off Sports Network, but I'm just going to drop my props. Might as well. I have them right here, so I'll give you those guys. I'll give you those picks as well. But let's start with the first game tomorrow, 4:30. Well, actually later today. We're going real late in the morning here, or early in the morning here. 4:30 ESPN in Baltimore. Baltimore, rested their starters in week 18. Lamar didn't play. The receivers didn't play. Zay Flowers was out. So they're totally fresh, basically 3 weeks off. Jim Harbaugh just won a freaking national championship. Now his brother, John, is going to try to win his second Super Bowl title with the Baltimore Ravens, and certainly they probably are the favorites along with the Niners, obviously. They spanked up the Niners. They spanked up the Dolphins at the end of the season. So going in, they look like the best team. Lamar looks like he's going to get the MVP, although I think it's going to be Josh Allen. I mean, I think it should be Josh Allen, but Lamar's odds are just insanely in favor of him getting the MVP. But the spread in this game is -9.5. The total is 43.5. And the one big injury for the Ravens defense here is Marlon Humphrey, obviously a really, really good corner, their best corner by far. But they have a talented defense. I mean, they could overcome losing Humphrey. They have a lot of guys, led the league in sacks this year. Um, so they're just doing a great job on defense. They're bringing a ton of pressure. This is going to be a huge test for CJ Stroud on the road in cold weather. The weather in this game is going to be cold and breezy, temperatures in the upper 20s with a 15-mile-an-hour sustained wind, gusts going to around 30 miles an hour. So sustained, that's kind of the number you want to look at. Gusts, they come and go. They last for freaking 30 seconds, 20 seconds, and they come every, 20, 30 minutes, maybe an hour. Who the hell knows when the gusts come? The sustained winds is the big thing. 15 miles an hour isn't bad. The biggest thing is just going to be cold. With the wind chill, maybe it's going to feel like 10 degrees out there. So it's going to be pretty cold. But CJ Stroud, he played at Ohio State. Should be used to it. But, he's in Texas. He's in Houston, playing at a dome. Get a little warm weather. It's, you got to go play. You spend too much time with wifey, go out and play with the hard-headed. And, could get a little rough. So we'll see what happens when he goes to Baltimore, gritty-ass town in Maryland. And CJ Stroud not playing like a rookie, obviously, like Neo from the Matrix, like the chosen one. Can he go out there and do it against this defense? And, I can't see them winning the game. I just can't see it. If they do it, the Texans defense is going to have to play absolutely huge. Texans are going to have Will Anderson Jr. He was, battling injuries, but he's off the injury report. Jerry Hughes, one of their DNs, will be out. George Fant, their offensive tackle, is questionable. But, Will Anderson, Derek Stingley, he's playing good ball at cornerback. He kind of plays on that left side, so he's not going to follow Zay Flowers or Beckham. He just kind of plays the left side in their zone defense. But, Will Anderson did get a sack on Lamar in the first game. So I didn't really want to make a pick in this game. It's nothing strong, but I want to give a pick for every game since there's only 4 games, 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. So I'm going to go with Texans plus 9.5. I think the spread, it was like, I think 9 should be the spread. So now it's going up a little bit. More people are taking Baltimore. So you get the extra half point. You also could possibly factor in, the Texans, a little bit of a revenge game, obviously losing week 1 way back when. Texans, CJ Stroud's first game. He's a lot more developed, playing in this Bobby Slowick offense all year. But you could say the same about Lamar, with Todd Monken in his first year in that offense. The offense really wasn't great in that game for the Baltimore. And of late, Lamar has just been tearing it up against Miami. He had a perfect passer rating. They win 56-19. He goes out against the Niners, puts up a nice game there. 252 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 7 carries, 45 yards. So, down the stretch here, I mean, there was glimpses where it seemed like he was picking up the offense. Then they slowed down and, but towards the end, I think they finished pretty strong. But I mean, his overall stats for the year, I mean, they're not insane. I mean, you look at, he's got a lot more total touchdowns. I mean, Josh Allen's got a lot more total touchdowns than Lamar Jackson. Lamar, 24 passing touchdowns with 7 picks. 24 passing touchdowns with 7 picks. And he also had, 821 yards rushing with 5 rushing touchdowns. So, just 29 total touchdowns. Josh Allen, 40 plus total touchdowns for 4 straight years now. The only person in NFL history to do that. But he's not going to win the MVP. It's just, it's just the odds I just can't see it happening based on the odds. But I mean, obviously, you can make a great case for Josh Allen. But the Baltimore defense, they're just playing so damn well. What they did to the Niners, what they did to Miami. They beat up Jacksonville. You know, the week before that, they play a very, very close back and forth game with the Rams. But I mean, the Rams are like one of the hottest offenses in the NFL down the stretch, but they went 37-31 in overtime. Stafford had a big game. So, I mean, they could get passed on. They could get beat up. Their run defense is probably their, biggest weakness, so maybe Singletary has a nice game here. But I'm going to go Texans plus 9.5 for the pick in this game. And then we got some props. I'll give you guys some player props in this game. So I'm going to go Lamar rushing anytime touchdown, rushing touchdown, anytime touchdown, plus 105 against Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson, Will Levis, Desmond Ritter. They led up rushing touchdowns, did this Houston Texans defense. Anthony Richardson also had 2 rushing touchdowns against them. So, that's 6 rushing touchdowns to all mobile quarterbacks. And now they're facing Lamar, basically the king of mobile quarterbacks. He didn't get a rushing touchdown in week 1, but I think he's going to get one here. I like the odds plus the 105. So let's take that Lamar anytime TD. I'm going to also take CJ Stroud over 8.5 rushing yards, minus 110. Week 1, he ran for 20 yards against them. Ravens have allowed 10 different quarterbacks to run for over 8.5 yards, including Tua and Will Levis. CJ Stroud's not really a runner. He likes to stay in the pocket, but the Ravens are going to bring pressure here. Definitely going to be big pressure. So CJ Stroud's going to have to get out that pocket, maybe make some plays with his feet, and there might be good coverage as well. So I think he's going to have to take off and run. You get one run, 10 yards. That to me, it's a good bet. Stroud has also run for over 8.5 yards 8 times this year. So I like that. Devin Singletary, like I mentioned, I think this matchup is decent for him. I think that the Texans will want to get that ground game going ever since, Dameon Pierce got hurt. Devin Singletary stepped into the full role. He looked pretty good doing it. He's a lot better in this zone system. They're blocking pretty well, and this Texans offensive line is pretty solid from a passing and run blocking perspective. But I'm going to take that over 59.5 minus 115. He's over that mark 4 of the last 5 games, and the Ravens have allowed over 59.5 rushing to a running back 10 times this season. Another one, John Mechie, second-year receiver out of Alabama, talented kid, tore his ACL, I believe it was in the national championship game or maybe the game before the semifinal. And then, he goes out and gets lymphoma, battling cancer. So he's overcome the ACL. He's overcome the lymphoma. And, I expect him to have a role this year, but Nico was so damn good. Tank Dell was really good. And even Noah Brown really stepped up. So he kind of played, way back, just got limited snaps. But now with Noah Brown out, now with Tank Dell, obviously out for a long time. He left several weeks ago after the year. Robert Woods is even a little bit banged up. Robert Woods will play in this game, but over 25.5, Nico Collins is going to get a lot of attention. So I'm going to go John Mechie over 25.5 minus 115. Dalton Schultz also over 35.5 receiving yards. He's gone over that total 4 of the last 5 games. Will Anderson, like I mentioned, over half a sack plus 140. He's got 5 sacks in his last 4 games. The talented rookie, early first round pick. And he also sacked Lamar in week 1. Zay Flowers over 53.5 rushing and receiving. Now I think his receiving is like 49.5, but I'll just take the rushing and receiving because a couple weeks off, I think they're going to give maybe Zay a couple plays out of the backfield. So maybe I get 10 yards there. Then I only need 40 yards receiving. So I'll take the 53.5. That's minus 110. I'll also take, even the receiving one too. I'll take both of those really, but he's been over that 53.5 mark 11 times this year. He had 87 yards against them in week 1, and the Texans have allowed over that 53.5 mark over that to 20 plus receivers. Isaiah Likely, Mark Andrews is out in this game. So, we thought maybe he'd come back. But they're going to sit him out this week. He'll probably be back next week. But even when he comes back next week, I still think, if they win this game, that it'll kind of be a buildup and it'll maybe like a 50-50 or 60-40 towards Likely. But Likely over 37.5 receiving yards, minus 115. Texans allowed the most receiving yards as a tight end. So this one seems like one of the best props in this game. Likely is also over that 37.5, 5 of the last 6 games. And then I also like a Likely anytime touchdown, plus 190, 5 touchdowns in his last 5 games. So there you have it. Texans plus 9.5, plus all those damn props. Replay it, rewind it if you need to after the show for that game. But, it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a solid game for sure. We'll see how CJ Stroud comes out. Can he pull the massive upset as a rookie, go and take down, the sports writers are going to really be pissed if they vote for Lamar and he goes out and loses to the Texans. All right, Saturday night, Packers, Niners.
Professional football in America is a special game, a unique game, played nowhere else on earth. It is a rare game. The men who play it make it so.
Hey, baby, let's go out there like a bunch of crazy dogs and have some fun.
Coming now, buddy. We on our horse all day long. Let's just kick that butt all day long. Pick it up. Don't stop. Pick it up.
All right, Packers, Niners, Saturday night. And we got the Niners favored by 9.5. Total on this game over 50.5. And, Jordan Love, man, goes out on the road. I said on the show last week, I thought that the Packers were dangerous, and there's a potential that they could, stay within that number. I didn't give a pick in that game. I took the over. The game went way to freak over. The Packers, the Dallas Cowboys could not stop them on defense. Dan Quinn playing man all year, comes out and plays a lot of zone because he didn't think his corners could match up, and they couldn't do shit. They're all confused, zone. So now they get the 49ers, who can be passed on. I mean, we saw Drew Lock throw for 269 yards against them. So their secondary is good. I mean, I wouldn't say it's anything special. This, they're led by, Fred Warner, Bosa, that freaking defensive line. I think that's the strength of this defense. Fred Warner is probably arguably the best linebacker in the NFL. So definitely a tall task for the Packers for sure. Aaron Jones may not find many passing lanes, but 2 key things here is Christian Watson is off the injury report, I believe. So, and in the past, kind of take Christian Watson like 2 or 3 games to really get going. So maybe he doesn't do much, but also Jaden Reed is off the injury report. And Jaden Reed is one of my favorite rookies this year. I'm going to love him in fantasy football next year. Don't forget that name. If you played fantasy this year, obviously you know about Jaden Reed. Just don't forget about him next year in your drafts, playing alongside Jordan Love. So we got we got Jaden Reed, we got Christian Watson, we got Romeo Doubs, who had a huge game last week, over 100 yards. We got Dontavian Wicks, beating Stephon Gilmore last week for a touchdown. Nice route. And he's a good player. Luke Musgrave comes back. Talented rookie. Tucker Kraft, talented rookie tight end. 2 talented rookie tight ends. Aaron Jones running the ball left and right. Matt LaFleur is calling great plays. This Packer team is playing good football. Jordan Love finishes the season with 32 touchdowns, 4,200 yards passing, and 11 interceptions. Brock Purdy, 31 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Where the hell is that coming from? Basically, basically the basically the same numbers as Jordan Love. So I expect a high scoring game. Could the Niners, kind of take charge here with Debo, with Kittle, with we know how talented they are in freaking offense, and Ayuk and Christian McCaffrey and that offensive line and Trent Williams and Shanahan calling plays, and they're well freaking rested, fresh bodies at home. Could they go out and just blow this game open? Sure. But I'm going to take the team. And I'll go back to, I don't know how much this correlates, and I didn't really look into it with the wild card and the coverage, but you go back to like the NCAA tournament and that playing game, and we see that year after year, that playing game just loosens up teams, gets them in the mix, gets them fresh, and they go on and make a nice run. And we've seen wild card teams make runs in the past. We've seen wild card teams pull upsets. I'm not saying the Packers are going to pull the upset, although I don't think it's a terrible bet on the money line. I'm just going to take, and the money line is plus 360 for the Packers, but I'm going to take the Packers plus 9.5 here. And I'm also going to take the over 50.5. And I think the over is probably my best bet of the weekend here of all my picks, or one of my best bets. I have one more. But yeah, Packers plus 9.5, over 50.5. I just think we're going to see a lot of points here. I really do. I mean, just, again, Packers defense is playing better football of late, you could say. Against the Bears, they seem to turn the switch a little bit with Jared Alexander coming back. Jared Alexander looked nice last week, getting a pick off Dak. They frustrated Dak early on. There was some good coverage. They had a pick six. They got some pass rushers with Kenny Clark, with Preston Smith, with Rashawn Gary. So got some guys that could pressure the quarterback. So not, maybe it's a little bit underrated defense. But again, at the same time, they let up 30 to the Carolina Panthers and Bryce Young. I like Bryce Young more than most of them. Everybody's kind of jumping ship on him. I think, I've seen a lot of good things from him, and he certainly played really well in that game. But, he really wasn't putting up points all year on anybody. And he goes and puts 30 up on the Panthers. On the Packers. And then, Baker Mayfield puts up 34. He has like a perfect passer rating, throws for 304 touchdowns. But Baker's done that a few times this year too. But either way, I just think the Niners are going to put up points. But I also think the Niners are going to have some trouble covering these receivers. And I think Jordan Love's going to put up some points as well. So I like that over 50.5 in this game as one of my best picks. And also the Packers plus 9.5. So 3 picks so far: Texas plus 9.5, Packers plus 9.5, over 50.5. Let's get into the props for this game. And being that I like it over, I'm going to go Jordan Love over 1.5 touchdowns, minus 135. 2 or more passing touchdowns in 9 of his last 10 games. So 90% on that clip, and it is a minus 135. So it is likely. Jordan Love over 249.5 passing yards, minus 15, 80%, 8 of last 10. Niners allowed Drew Lock again to throw for 269 yards. Enough said. Jaden Reed over 42.5 rushing and receiving yards. Now everybody's going to forget about Jaden Reed because he didn't do shit last week. He donutted, but he's actually the highest yardage receiver for the Packers this week, more than anybody, more than Dobbs, more than Watson, more than Wicks. So again, he's off the injury report. He's arguably their most talented, or one, maybe I would say, I don't know if they're all talented in their way. That's what I'm saying. All these guys can get open. All these guys can catch the ball. They all are pretty. They all got pretty good speed. Watson has great speed. Reed has really good speed. Wicks has got some speed too. Dobbs is like the crafty guy with good hands. But Jaden Reed over 42.5 rushing and receiving yards has hit 4 of the last 5 games over that number. And the one game he didn't hit was last week, and he was coming in hurt, and he barely played. So maybe he would even hit it last week too if he was freaking healthy and got more playing time. Preston Smith for the Packers over the half sack plus 180. I like that. He's got 3.5 sacks in his last 4 games. And I think Purdy's been sacked 28 times this year. So, Purdy could go down here, especially if there's a back and forth shootout. And they're both kind of just slinging the ball around. So I like that as well. Then, of course, the man, Christian McCaffrey, can't leave him out. Over 129.5 rushing receiving yards. He's fresh. 3 weeks off. Had a little bit of a calf injury, but, I'm sure he's ready to rock. Plenty of time off. He's fresh as shit. He's going to be rearing to go. He's going to have a nice game. He's going over this number. Rashad White and Bijan both went over that total when they faced the Packers. And again, CMC essentially just 3 weeks rest here. So over the 129.5 rushing receiving. And then finally, George Kittle over 51.5 receiving yards. He's done that 8 of his last 10. We saw what Jake Ferguson did. Now, a lot of garbage time there. But he had a big game. So I like the Kittle over 51.5. So that's the props there for the Niners game. All right, let's move to Sunday now. And we are going to look at the 3:00 game. NBC, Bucks, Lions. Lions pull it out against the Rams, one of the hottest offenses in the league, 24-23. They won that game by shutting the Lions out of the end zone. I mean, the Rams out of the end zone. The Rams could not get into the end zone. They kicked 3 field goals. Even that last drive, they were kind of driving a little bit. Then they were forced to punt on 4th and 15. They should have just went for it. But they punted and they never got the ball back. So you just hate that. There was 4 minutes left when they punted. I just had a feeling they weren't going to get the ball back, and they didn't. It just sucks. Might as well just take your shot. Whatever. They get the ball at the freaking 45. It's lessens the field anyway. So you maybe get some more time. You just got to hold them to a field goal. But they punt, they don't get the ball back. So I disagree with that call. Should have went for it. I mean, it was 4th and 15 is not easy, but they could have kind of planned it and cut it in half. But anyway, Lions pull it out 24-23. And now they play the Bucks. NFC South winners. Baker Mayfield, nice season, 28 touchdowns, 10 picks, $4,000 on the year throwing, 4G. Jared Goff, 30 touchdowns, 12 picks, 4,500 yards. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 1,500 receiving yards, 10 touchdowns, 119 catches. Mike Evans, 79 catches, 1,255 yards, 13 touchdowns. David Montgomery has 1,000 yards, 13 touchdowns. Jahmyr Gibbs, obviously a very, very nice player as well. Nice rookie coming out of Alabama. And Sam Laporta is going to be a little bit healthier in this week. And these two teams played early in the year. I actually watched that game. It was on NFL Network. And Baker had some chances. Like, the game was close. It was pretty close. Like, I think it was 10-0 or 10-3 at halftime. Baker missed some throws to Evans, to Trey Palmer. That could have been touchdowns, could have been big plays. He was just a little bit off. It was early in the year. Wasn't his best game at home. And certainly Baker could play like that. He could kind of be off like that. But, and then also on the other side, Goff was making the big throws. Big throw to Jameson Williams for a touchdown on a bomb. One of Jameson's first games back from the suspension. Amon-Ra St. Brown ran a drag route, got a nice block, took it to the house. Made a nice little move to get around the edge. But those two plays changed the game, and I think it'll be closer this time. I think the Bucks. Not many people are going to give them a chance. Although the spread was 6.5, comes down to 6 now, so it's dropping just a little bit. Um, what happened here?
Indeed, all this. The theory is simple.
So we're gonna go Bucks plus 6. I like Baker. I like Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Trey Palmer against this Lions secondary that is not very good. I don't expect much from Rachaad White. Maybe he can get it going in the passing game a little bit. But this Lions secondary, they've allowed, Nick Mullins. They've allowed over 258 passes. This is what they've allowed. 325 plus passing yards in 4 straight games. Dak, Stafford, okay. 2 really good quarterbacks. But Nick Mullins did it twice. Nick Mullins threw for 400. I mean, come on. I mean, I know Kevin O'Connell's got a nice system there, and they got Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison. But if freaking Nick Mullins could throw for 400 yards, Nick Mullins could throw for 325 plus. Freaking Baker Mayfield sure as hell can too. With Chris Godwin, with Mike Evans, and Trey Palmer, who I like Trey Palmer. Rookie out of Nebraska. So I'm going to take the Bucks to keep this close, plus 6. And the over-under 49.5, I kind of want to take the over, and I'm going to just tease it probably, Bucks in the over. Tease it down to like 43, get Bucks plus 12. I like that teaser. And I would tease all these games. Packers with the over, Texans with the over. Maybe Texans with the under, Packers with the over. Bucks with the over. Yep. But I think the Bucks defense can possibly, with Todd Bowles. First of all, Dave Canales, I like him. He's doing a really good job with Geno Smith. Under Pete Carroll's wing for all those damn years, 14 years. Improving Geno Smith as the offensive coordinator. Now he's with the Bucks. And, look at what Baker Mayfield's doing with Canales. I like Canales. I think he's doing a good job. So I like the Bucks plus 6 here. And, but on the other side, Todd Bowles, that's what I was going to say, bringing all these different pressures. I think he's going to learn a little bit from that first game. You can't, and the one thing I noticed, and it's, it's been obvious all year when you watch the Lions, Goff gets a lot of time to throw. And it's Josh Reynolds wide open in the middle of the field, or I can't tell you how many times Amon-Ra St. Brown's just been fucking wide open, uncovered, just countless times. Now, and that's kind of one of the reasons I was a little bit off on Amon-Ra St. Brown this year in fantasy, because I thought that he would be, defenses would figure him out, just kind of man him up. But to his credit, he is good off the line. He can get off the press a little bit, and he doesn't really drop any pass. I rarely ever see this guy drop a pass. Maybe he's got 2 drops this year, and he's quick. He's quick enough to create enough separation. And when you operate in the slot, you get a lot of layup plays. So for fantasy purposes, just money, and he's a good player in his own right. Not as talented as some of the bigger, faster receivers, obviously. But for what he does in this system and with Jared Goff, it just all fits perfect. But I think that Todd Bowles is not going to – you can't watch the tape and just let Amon-Ra St. Brown just run off the line, run completely free, nobody around him, and let Jared Goff just throw 20 yards to him wide open. Same with Josh Reynolds. You just can't do it. You got to put some kind of bracket cloud coverage or just play man. You got some decent corners. You got Carlton Davis, you got Jamal Dean, you got Antoine Winfield. So you got Devin White, you got Vita Vea, And you got some other good players on the defense. I mean, it's a veteran defense. Todd Bowles is going to blitz. If they could just get to Jared Goff, if they could just get some pressure on him and slow down the running game, which I think they can do because the Bucs, they have a pretty good run defense with Vita Vea clog in the middle there. I think the Bucs can kind of slow down this Lions offense, and I think the Bucs could put up some points here, and that's why I like the +6, and that's kind of why I'm hesitant to take the over because I feel like the Lions will probably slow down Baker. The Baker's going to be a little bit inconsistent, but I think the Lions going to be a little inconsistent on offense too. So I'm going to go Bucs +6 here on the road. I mean, not a lot of people are going to be taking him. Could I see the Bucs winning this game? Sure, I actually could. Bucs +240 on the money line. Those Lions fans will be depressed, but the story will be a good season. They got one of the playoff wins. They'll be back next year. Campbell will be like, we had a hell of a season. The Bucs just played a great game. I could see something like that. And then the Bucs, going to possibly San Francisco. That'd be ugly. But I mean, we'll see. I think the Bucs have a shot. Definitely to cover +6. I like that. But even to win, I think they have an outside chance as well. Although, I probably expect the Lions to pull it out because I just think I still have my doubts that they're going to be able to get to Goff. You give Goff time. Again, he picks you apart, throws the ball in the money, finds wide open guys. Monroe St. Brown's been money all year. Sam Laporte is getting healthier. They got Gibbs. They got Montgomery. Ben Johnson. Talk about Canales. Ben Johnson. He call a hell of a game as well. But I do like the Bucs to keep it close. So Bucs +6. All right, last game. The best game of the weekend. It could be the best. This could be the best game of the playoffs when all's said and done. I mean, we saw again 2 years ago, or what? 2021. Jesus, 2000. The stupid ads keep popping up. 2021, the divisional game on the road. Allen goes into Kansas City. And that game was on TV the other day. I watched the end of it. Chiefs score. Allen scores. Allen scores what? 2 minutes left. Chiefs score again right away. Tyreek Hill, big ass play. They score like a minute 50. Then Allen scores again with freaking 13 seconds left. Gabe Davis. And then Leslie Frazier, I don't know, it was Leslie Frazier or McDermott. But Leslie Frazier's gone. And we saw that against the Bengals last year in the playoffs too. More soft-ass coverage. I think Leslie Frazier just playing like bend but don't break defense. Like he was in love with that bend but don't break. And you see McDermott play a lot more aggressive defense. But anyway, Tyreek Hill, little quick pass. The defense is all the way back. He runs it up, 19 yards. Then Travis Kelce wide open in the seam. Nobody even covers him. I mean, nobody's even lined up with him. Another, 20 yards, whatever he gets. And then Buckner kicks the field goal, 49 yards, goes to overtime. Chiefs get the ball, score a touchdown. And that was at the point where the overtime rule wasn't changed. So Chiefs win in overtime. Bills never got the ball back. But Josh Allen played, basically an absolutely perfect game, losing 42-36 in overtime. Allen goes 27 of 37 for 329, 4 touchdowns, 0 picks. Mahomes also in that game, 33 of 44, 378, 3 touchdowns, 0 picks. I don't have Allen's rushing numbers up, but I'm sure he ran for quite a few as well. But they're 3-3 against each other, Allen and Mahomes. Mahomes is 2-0 against him in the playoffs. And Allen is 3-1 against him in the regular season. Their first matchup came all the way back in 2020, week 6. Mahomes was 21 of 26, 225 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 picks. Allen was 14 of 27, 122 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Then also in the AFC Championship in 2020 to go to the Super Bowl, Allen was close. Mahomes 29 of 38, 325, 3 touchdowns. Allen was 28 of 48, 287, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. And then the divisional game, obviously we just went over that. Those are, Mahomes' 3 wins. Allen 2021, they won 38-20. 2022, they won 24-20. And this year they won 2017 in week 14. Allen was 23 of 42 for 233, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Mahomes was 25 of 43 for 271, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. So both guys kind of struggled. And actually in all these matchups, Mahomes has 2 more picks than Allen. So for all the talk, Allen turnover machine, he's so damn good, but he's a turnover machine. Again, you look at that Orlovsky breakdown. I think that was pretty good. The turnovers, like they don't really I think he has 1 pick 6 in his career. And a lot of the turnovers aren't in it, on their own 20 or on their own 10. Like most of the turnovers are he's throwing bombs down the field, or they drive all this way, then they're at the 20 and he fumbles it or throws a pick. Doesn't really have many red zone turnovers either. Last year he was pretty bad with it, but this year just 1. I think the year before that, the 2 years prior to that, he had 1 or 2 in the last 2 years. But it's going to be an epic game. First road game for Mahomes in his career. That's been the big story all week. Can Mahomes go on the road in Buffalo? Bills Mafia is going to be going absolutely insane. Similar weather to last week where it's going to be cold. The snow is cleared out this time. There's not going to be fans sitting on a bunch of snow. I think they got it all shoveled out. Cold, little bit of a breeze. The temperature should be around 20 degrees with 10 to 15 mile an hour sustained, gusting around 20. So similar to the Baltimore game. But with the wind, could be 10 or below. It's going to be damn cold. But Chiefs are used to it. Bills are used to it. This time the Chiefs don't get the advantage of playing a Miami team in -0 temperatures. They're playing a Buffalo team that's damn used to it. Their fans don't give a shit either. So Bills Mafia is going to be loud as shit. Could be the loudest ever. This is the game that Allen has to win over Mahomes. Now, Bills, they lost Matt Milano. They lost Trey White. Their 2 best defensive players in one game in London, all the way back, I think, week 6 in Jacksonville. The Bills were playing good football. They lost those 2 guys, and they kind of went in a little bit of a slump after that. Then they fired Ken Dorsey, and things start to turn around again. They go on an insane run. They're 6-6. Everybody's doubting them. Nick Wright saying they're not going to make the playoffs. Oh, they're absolutely not going to make the playoffs. Well, he proved them to freaking wrong. Bills proved him wrong. Yeah, there's a lot of Josh Allen haters. There's a lot of Josh Allen doubters out there. I don't really get it because when I watch this guy, he's definitely the most fun player to watch in the NFL. He's been that way for basically since he's come out. I remember just going back and watching him at Wyoming, and just ridiculous shit I've never seen before from a quarterback. So this is his time. 0-2 against Mahomes. They're favored by 2.5. Went up to 3. Now it's down back to 2.5. Probably bounce back and forth a little bit more. Some experts are picking the Chiefs. Some experts are picking the Bills. I think most of the public is on the Bills. They expect the Bills to get it done here in Buffalo. This could be a 1 or 2 point game. I kind of like taking the Bills on a money line, but I don't do that here in this show. I pick with the spreads. So I got to bite the bullet here. And we're going to take the Bills -2.5. Bills defense. is obviously banged up coming into this game, but they're going to get Rasul Douglas. They said the corner they got from Green Bay, they said he was going to play last week, but they sat him out. He's going to be ready this week, so that's big. They didn't have him last week. Teron Johnson, concussion, he left that game. You know, he's arguably their best corner now with Trey White out, veteran of the team. He looks like he's going to clear protocol and be back. Terrell Bernard, their linebacker, with the ankle injury, he also has a chance to play. So they get 2 out of those 3 guys. I think they're definitely going to have Douglas and Johnson. They get Bernard, too, who filled in for Milano, kind of was the chief of that, defense, calling all the plays. A.J. Klein comes in. If the guy was going to take his family to Key West, leads the team in tackles. But I don't think you want to go back to him again against Andy Reid and the Chiefs against Kelsey. So it'd be big if they could get Bernard out there because they did lose Balin Spector and Christian Benford, their cornerback, is going to be out as well. But we saw Elam step up. He had a pick on the Deontay Johnson, was struggling. He bounced back. Dane Jackson, another good corner for them. So they have a lot of depth. The Bills, it's like next man up, and this system that McDermott's got. These disguised coverages, the way these corners cover, these different looks he gives the offenses. Von Miller even was getting some pressure last week. So Von Miller could potentially have a presence. They have a deep defensive line. And that's what Von Miller was saying. One of the deepest lines, he's been around defensive fronts. So, and we've seen it from the Chiefs all year. Just, they really haven't looked like the old Chiefs offense that we're accustomed to seeing. Kelsey really hasn't looked like the normal Kelsey. Good game last week, still some drops. Rashee Rice certainly is coming on. But the rest of the guys don't scare you. Justin Watson, McCole Hardman stinks. He had multiple opportunities. Just never happens with McCole Hardman. Tony's banged up. Sky Moore is out. So they'll play Noah Gray a little bit. Pacheco didn't play in the first matchup. He'll be back for this game. I'm sure he'll be running like a maniac. He'll be fresh. He may cause some issues. I think it's going to be somewhat of a defensive game. The total is 45.5. I don't know what to say with that. I mean, I would probably lean under. Maybe buy it up to 46 and lean the under, or tease it with the Bills in the under. Bills plus 4.5, and then the total 51.5 under. Another teaser there. But I just think the Bills are going to win this game. I think Allen, I've been saying it. I think he's the best quarterback in the league. And I think, I think I've always kind of believed that he was. It's hard to say that he is because Mahomes wins championships. The champions beats him in the playoffs. And rightfully so. Mahomes is still king. But pound for pound, when you put it all together, I just think Allen is he's the most talented quarterback in the game. He's the most physically gifted, or one of the most physically gifted, along with Lamar in the game. And I think there's the doubters, the people that aren't ready for him, to be declared the best. There's going to be a lot of talk after this game if he indeed wins this game against Mahomes. And then he'll have a chance to go and beat Lamar on the road in Baltimore and even make a bigger case. But I think he at least gets it done this week against the Chiefs. So give me the Bills minus 2.5. All right, some props in this game. We got to go with Allen rushing touchdown, anytime touchdown. 15 rushing touchdown. Big ass 52-yard run last week. Just so much fun to watch. Minus 115. It's just hard not to take. Very square play, but yeah, I think you just have to take it. Even if he's at the 2-1, probably he's going to go all out. He's going to be running. So, and I'm also going to go Allen over 1.5 touchdowns passing plus 115. He's done that 2 games in a row. But the best one, the best bet, the best prop in this game, I think, is Dalton Kincaid, Sir Dalton Kincaid, the rookie from Utah. 1 year of college, 1 year of high school football. Was a basketball player, but gifted, natural athlete, so fluid, great ball skills, catches the ball, good speed, runs good routes. Burnt Miles Jack on that post route on that Tampa 2 that the Steelers were playing, after that George Pickens fumble for the touchdown. So Kincaid over 39.5 receiving yards, minus 115. Kincaid, his last 3 games, 87 yards, 84 yards, and 59. The freaking Chiefs allowed Tyler Conklin, Hunter Henry, and Donald Parham to go over 39.5. So fully expect Dalton Kincaid to hit this. I really love this prop. Actually, you know what? If there's a Dawson Knox anytime touchdown or a Dawson Knox prop there for yards too, I'd probably take that and see that on my book using Hard Rock out here in Florida. But if you think about it, Dawson Knox kind of going to be the forgotten man with Diggs being locked up by Snead. There's going to be some attention to Kincaid as well, and James Cook, and Shakir. Shakir could potentially be facing McDuffie. So Dawson Knox may, be open quite a few times and may get into the end zone just like he did last week on that corner route early in the game. Nice pass, Cook in the flat, Knox on the corner route, and Allen makes a nice pass to Knox for the touchdown. So those are the props. Those are the picks. Again, we'll recap it.
On these wins of victory.
Texans plus 9.5. Again, not a strong pick, but I wanted to give you guys a pick here. Again, I can see the Ravens blowing them out. But I'm going to go with the Texans and CJ Stroud plus 9.5. Packers plus 9.5. Over 50.5 in that game. That's probably one of my best plays of the weekend. Again, Jordan Love, Purdy. I think there's going to be a lot of points. Bucks plus 6. So we got 3 underdogs in a weekend where a lot of people like the favorites. And then Bills minus 2.5 for my last pick. So there you have it, guys. Divisional round. Good luck to everybody. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the games. Again, follow me on X at Fantasy Savvy. Like and subscribe to the show on YouTube. We'll be back next week for the championship round. And hopefully some more winners for your ass. So, thanks, guys. Take care. Again, enjoy the weekend. Get outside, get to church, see family. Enjoy the games. It's going to be some good games, especially the last one at the end. Take care. See you next week.